back again for more yoga. Thank you for coming and joining me on your mat again today. For today's yoga practice, I would suggest a lot of props. So either a bolster, as many blocks as you have, and if you don't have any blocks in your house, something that you can use or substitute, whether it's a little step stool, maybe a 12-pack of, say, like, sparkling waters, anything that's solid and stable. You'll also need something that will work as a yoga strap if you don't have one. We'll be using that in the beginning of today's class to really kind of awaken our hamstrings. So today's going to be a big class for releasing the hamstrings, the backs of our thighs. So as you're here, we're going to, in a moment, take it to the mat. But first, just start in an upright seated position in Sukhasana, easy pose. If this is uncomfortable, you can always let your legs come out in front of you or bent a little bit, whatever feels good to you. All right, so as you're here, lift the spine tall. Open the chest. Maybe take your hands, turn the fingertips away from you, pushing into the mat to help lift the spine and open the chest. From here, you're closing your eyes, drawing the back of your head back a little bit. The chin will pull in also. And then slightly take the chin downwards. Start to breathe in and out through your nose. And begin to form your Ujjayi breath. If you feel like you can keep that tall lifted spine, feel free to release your hands into your lap or on your knees. You're starting to slightly close off the senses, in this case, your vision, to help turn your focus more inwards towards your body and your breath. For today's practice, it's really important to focus on the sensations our body is sending us so that we don't go too deep in our poses, especially our poses for our hamstrings and for our hip flexors. So we always want to kind of really be attuned to how our poses feel in our body. If you haven't already, really try to lengthen your exhales. Keeping a flow in and out with your breath, but letting the exhales flow a little bit longer. Feeling the sensation of your breath as it moves through the constriction in your throat as you exhale. Hearing the sound of your Ujjayi breath within your body as you're breathing in and out. Letting the eyes stay closed, you can bring your chin back up to level. Hands are on your knees. Just start to circle in one direction. Just getting a little bit of gentle opening for your back before we move on. The next time you come forward, stop and then turn in the other direction. Sometimes just simply changing direction can create a very different feeling for the back and the hips. You may notice certain tightnesses that maybe you didn't find when you were turning the other way. From here, make your way back upright. Gently open your eyes and extend your legs out. Shake them a little bit. From here, you're going to take a hold of your strap and lay down on your mat. Your feet are going to be about hip distance apart, knees are bent. Draw the shoulders down and away from your neck. So take that strap, place it into your right foot, flexing the right toes. Reach up the strap with straighter arms. And then when you're ready, you'll exhale and raise that right leg up. Go to a comfortable, kind of releasing and relaxing starting position here. Try not to overgrip the strap. Also, notice if the leg is shaking or quivering at all. If so, I would lower the leg a little bit to let the body kind of slowly adjust to this stretch. Okay, so we're going to kind of go in little steps or stages, taking this pose deeper. Make sure that the face is soft, that there's space between the teeth. From here, let's extend our left leg out straight. You'll feel the pull increase a little bit in the back of your right leg. Let's go deeper again by just gently flexing the right toes downward a little bit more. And now focus on the right hip. See if you can push straight down into the mat more deeply. You'll feel the stretch in the back of the leg kind of broaden. From here, we're going to move into a half happy baby. So you can keep your hands on your string or your rope, but if you want to, you can place the strap into your right hand as an alternative. You'll start to bend that right knee and draw the right knee and the thigh down towards the outside edges of your ribs on that right side. Try not to let the heel come down. We want to keep the bottom of your foot aiming up to the ceiling. And from here, you can just pull that leg down to whatever degree is comfortable. If your hands are already up by your foot, you may just want to grab the outside edge of your foot with your hand. And once again, you can pull down to go deeper. Breathing. Go ahead, bend the right knee more deeply, hug it into your chest, taking an inhale, maybe roll the ankle around a little bit. Then as you exhale, you're rolling to your left side, and then opening up your right arm out from your shoulder, palm is up, and turning your head to the right. If you're feeling a little tight in the neck, you can do a couple of turns left and right. Just kind of loosen the neck a little bit and then finish with the right turn of the head. Remember, you can always modify this pose by changing the position of your right arm, or if it bothers your back, you can draw both knees up and into the chest as an alternative. It will make it more comfortable for the lowest part of your spine. All right, from here, take your head back. You'll roll onto your spine and bend the knees again. You can either sway the knees left and right, hug them into your chest and rock left and right, or just stay still if that feels best for your back. When you're ready, take your strap, place it into your left foot, extending that left leg straight out, drawing the shoulders away from your neck. You'll flex the left toes and then exhale and raise the left leg up. Take it to a comfortable starting position. Let the breath flow freely. Use your exhales to try and soften, to release a little bit of held tension anywhere along the leg or up into the hip. Let's take this pose a little deeper now by extending our right leg straight out on the mat. Once again, let's go deeper by flexing the left toes downward. And once again, deeper by pushing this left hip more fully into the mat. Now we're going to transition into our half happy baby. Your strap can go into your left hand. You'll start to bend the left knee and draw the left knee down, pulling on the strap, but keeping the heel pointed up towards the sky. If you want, you can also grab that outside edge of your left foot. So you'll notice we're in a deep contraction for our left hip, but a little bit of a deeper opening for the front of our right hip. From here, bend the left knee, maybe rotate the ankle around, set your strap aside, take an in-breath, and then when you're ready, you'll exhale, roll to your right side, then open up your left arm, palm is turned up, and turn your head to the left. Once again, I want you to feel free to do some head turns if you need to release the neck, and then settle in to the pose. Gently take the head, gaze upright, roll onto your back. And then from here, maybe hug the knees into your chest, massaging the lower back or swing the knees side to side. You'll make your way upright to a seated position. From here, we're going to move into half boat pose. My hands are underneath my thighs. My chest is open, and I'm drawing in my energy right around the belly button. Try and keep a straighter, flatter back. You're floating your feet up to knee level, and then releasing your hands out in front of you, and your palms are up. If it feels better, you can always rest your hands behind your back, but try and keep a tall, lifted heart. From here, if you want to move into now a full boat pose, Navasana, you can extend the legs skyward. This kind of requires more opening in the hamstrings, so therefore we've kind of worked on stretching out here so it feels a little more comfortable. If you start to round and lose your form, try and open the chest again, lifting the spine, looking forward and up. Go ahead, bend your knees. If it feels good, extend and release forward. All right, let's make our way onto all fours. Moving into just a few cat-cows before we go more fully into our Vinyasa flow. You're bending the elbows back. You're relaxing and releasing the belly, letting the tailbone curve upward. From here, inhale through your nose, scooping forward and up with the chin, the gaze, and the tailbone. Exhale, round. You're pulling your chin in towards your chest, your belly firms up and in. Inhale to your cow. Exhale to your cat. Inhale to cow. Exhale to a cat. All right, from here, hands go more towards the top of your mat. Shift your shoulders over your wrists. Extend your legs back strong and straight. Push back into a down dog and pedal the feet. Your hamstrings here may feel more loosened and kind of warmed up, but maybe the backs of the ankles and the calves still feel a little bit tight. And then from here, let's flow back into our plank and then down dog. Once again, plank, and if you'd like to, a variation of up dog. You still have the toes curled under, but you'll notice the thighs are floating off of the mat. Push back to down dog. Extend into your plank. You can either stay in plank or move more fully into an opening for the front of the body in your up dog. Opening the chest, pushing the shoulders down, head and neck are up. Exhale, push back. Take in another breath, and then as you next exhale, walk your feet forward to the top of your mat into forward fold, Uttanasana. Shifting the weight forward, letting the head hang heavy. If you'd like, bending the knees is always an option for you to make this pose more comfortable. If it feels good, you can kind of grab the elbows with your hands and sway left and right. Then you'll make your way back to center. Shift the weight forward again. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Fingertips are on the floor or the shin. Chest opens, back flattens. Exhale, fold back down. From here, you will inhale, rolling up one vertebra at a time. As you come back up to standing, reach your arms up, gaze goes up, hands come together, and then exhale them in at your heart. Inhale up again. Exhale in. Belly is slightly engaged here. You feel strong and stable as you inhale up. Exhale in. From here, we're going to move into our flow. So inhale up again. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to your plank. Gaze stays towards the top of your mat. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale to a cobra or an upward facing dog. Maybe start a little easier to let the upper body open up more slowly. Then from here, you'll exhale, push back into your down dog. Take in another breath, rise onto the toes, look between your hands. As you exhale, you can walk or hop your feet to Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale down. Inhale, rise and reach up. Exhale, hands come to your heart in Namaste. All right, so make sure you have your props near you, your blocks for our next flow. You may want them towards the top of your mat. If you only have one, that's fine too. All right, so here we go. Inhale up. Exhale, swan dive down. Weights in the front of your feet as you inhale and rise to Ardha Uttanasana. Find length in the head and the neck. The top of your head is pointed straight forward. Exhale down, step back into a plank, and then chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, push back to your down dog. From here, raise the right leg up as you inhale. Exhale, step it through to the top of your mat. You're in your runner's lunge. Try and square off the hips. So that means drawing your right hip back a little bit. You can always place your left hand on a block here. We want to, though, make sure we have our right knee stacked above our right ankle. As you're breathing, you're opening the chest, flattening the back, and then exhaling and twisting to your right. Right arm goes up to the sky or rests on your waist. Then release back down. If you'd like, you can place your block now underneath your right hand. You're inhaling and then exhaling, opening up to your left. If you want, the left heel can stay raised or you can release it down. Breathing, think about drawing the right hip back a little bit. Once again, the hand can always be on the waist. Come back down. Step back into your plank. And then your chaturanga. If you need to, knee chaturangas are okay too. Try to keep the elbows drawn in at your sides. Inhaling to your upward facing position of choice. It could be cobra, it could be seal, it could be upward facing dog. Then exhale, push back to your down dog. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, step it through to the top of your mat. Once again, feel free to use a block. If you don't want to, hand is on the mat, but we're stacking our hand beneath our shoulder. Take a moment to gently, this time, draw the left hip back. Taking a breath, exhale. And, let's go ahead and instead, we're going to twist to the right first. So let's take, if you want, your left hand can go to the block beneath the shoulder. Find length in the spine, opening your chest. And then on your next exhale, open up to your right. You should notice your left kneecap should be open and in line with your middle toes. That left knee is pushing against your left bicep. Lower the right hand down. Block now can go into the right hand if you'd like, or on the mat. Square off the hips. You're drawing that left hip back as you inhale. Taking the arm down and then exhale, opening up the left arm to the sky. Always use a modification if you need it. Your choice. This is your yoga practice. I'm just the guide. Go ahead and release that left arm down and kind of set your blocks aside. And then you'll step back into your plank. and your chaturanga. Inhaling and then exhaling to your down dog. Once again, taking another breath. You can rise into the toes, exhale, lightly hop or walk to your Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, release back down. Inhale, rise and reach up. Exhale, namaste. All right, so once again, we're going to add on to this and open up a little more deeply for the hip flexors and the hamstrings. So please make sure you have some props available that are within easy reach. So I'm going to put mine right there. Here we go. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale down, step back to plank or jump back to your chaturanga, lowering down. Inhaling to your position of choice, trying to keep the chest open though and the shoulders pulled away from the neck. Exhale, down dog. From here, inhale your right leg up. Exhale, draw it through to the top of your mat. Release the left knee down, point the left toes. Inhale up with the arms and then back on Vinyasa. Let the breath flow. Take your gaze back to level. Slowly release your arms down at your sides. This is once again where you may want to use your blocks or block. If you have only one block, maybe you're just placing it in one arm. We're going to leave on Vinyasa and stretch out our right hamstring. So if you need to do a little bit of movement forward and back a couple times, that's fine, but then you'll settle in with the right toes up. The hips are squared off, so you're slightly drawing that right hip back. Your hands maybe are underneath a block on each side. Or if you want, you can place your block on either side of the leg, whatever feels best for you. For me, when my right leg is straight, I like having my block, if I only have one, underneath my right hand, and that's just on the outside of my right leg. All right, so before you even decide to go deeper, this is maybe the furthest you go, and you're just staying and working on stretching and opening. And when we open, we're trying to take this roundness and curling out of the back. We want to open the chest. Let your gaze slowly extend forward. Square off the hips. Then if you feel like you can go further, you can release down. And you may want to lower the blocks even more. For some of you, you may want to try to move into Hanumanasana, monkey pose. Also kind of called, as we know it, commonly the splits. You can start to extend your right leg forward, your left leg back up straight. You're trying to open the chest. I only want you to go as far as you can comfortably go where you're getting a stretch and you're not feeling any kind of sharp pain or too much pulling. Your hands can rest on the block, say whatever level you need, if you need to be up higher. And this is where props really come in handy. So use what you have. You may want to take a block and place it underneath the top or the bottom of that right thigh to give you more opening. Breathing. If ever this pose feels too uncomfortable, I want you to feel free to release out of it. Try not to force yourself to stay. Let the face be calm. Let the breath flow. So as you can see, I'm on the block and this feels much better, or else both hands here. I mean, I can't get my hips all the way to the ground. I've never been able to, and that's okay. It's about going where you want or need to go just to get the stretch. So this is where it's important to listen to our bodies. From here, just start to release out of it very slowly. Maybe drawing the back knee in, pulling the right foot forward. Then, if it feels good, a little bit of movement. From here, you'll move into your runner's lunge. Inhale to your plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, up dog, seal. Exhale, down dog. All right. From here, inhale your left leg up. Exhale, step your left foot forward and through to the top of your mat. Release the right knee down. Point the right toes. Inhale the arms up and back, Vinyasa. Stacking the left knee over the left ankle. The kneecap is in line with the second and third toes. You're squaring off the hips, keeping the belly slightly engaged and breathing. Gazes forward or gazes up. Slowly take your gaze back to level. Release your arms down at your sides. Once again, grab your block. If you have one, you may want to place it to the outside of this left leg. If you have two, maybe one on each side, start with the block or blocks up higher. Release out and back. Maybe a little bit of movement. And then settling in with the straighter left leg. The left toes are pointed up. And I want you to think about drawing the left hip back just to square off the two sides, opening your chest, letting your gaze come forward. And then if you feel you can go lower, you can take the blocks down a little bit more. Try not to compromise the form in your back. Try to keep the back a little bit straighter and the hips a little more squared. Soften the face and breathe. Now when we do this pose, you'll notice the two sides of the body can feel really different, especially in a deep pose such as Hanumanasana. I want to once again invite you to not do this pose if it doesn't suit you or your body well. You can always stay here and really work on the hamstring stretch. Maybe you're just starting to go into it a little bit, stretching out a little more. This time I'm going to show you, and this is actually my tighter side. So I'm going to show you a nice way to prop. Once again, I can take my block and you can raise it to whatever level you need, placing it right sort of at the top of my left thigh and having my other blocks here to help hold me up. Now I'm going to take my bolster to show you another alternative here in this pose. Feel free to take, say, something like a pillow, and you can place it on top of your bolster to give you a little bit more lift and comfortable padding. So this is another option too, as you release. Then you may feel some tightness, so you may be a little bit more forward folded. See if you can then push back, getting an upright lifted spine. And breathing. So this raised up a little more makes this tighter side of my body, it feels so much more comfortable, and I can lift my spine up comfortably too. I can breathe easily rather than forcing myself to lower down even more and go to a really uncomfortable tight state. The next thing you know, your body starts to tighten and seize up. Slowly start to come forward. Put a little bend in that left knee. Maybe draw the right knee forward some. Begin to move the props aside. There we go. And from here, maybe a little bit of movement, drawing then the left leg back. From here, let's take it into a child's pose. This usually feels really good afterwards. Forehead to the mat, or forehead can rest on a towel or a block. Arms are reaching forward, or hands can go back and reach towards the heels. Slowly take your hands back. Come from here to a seated position. We're going to move into a hip opener and just stay on our mats. Once again, props can help you with this. We're going to move into double pigeon today, and sometimes that can be an uncomfortable pose for people with any knee issues. So I'll show you how some props can help with that, and I'm also going to give you a modification that may make the pose a lot more comfortable rather than trying to set up into double pigeon. So with double pigeon, we're going to start, and I'll show you the modification after I get people set up in double pigeon. We're going to start by, this is really important to keep both feet flexed. You're going to take this left foot, bring it out in front of you, okay? So we're not tucking our heel in against us. We're bringing it out so that the shin of that left leg is parallel with the top of your mat. Then from here, you'll raise up your right foot, rest that right ankle and heel on top of your left knee. Now, you may have a lot of air space here, or if you're kind of floating this right hip off the mat and you just can't take it any lower, I would suggest not doing this pose and instead going into the variation, as I said, which I'll show in a moment. I like to kind of set up in this pose by lifting my hips up off the mat and then releasing down, so I make sure that I really get my right hip pushing into the mat. Try to keep your feet and your shins parallel with the mat. And I like to take the tops of my toes and draw a line. Do they meet? If they do, then you're set up properly. If you have some airspace between the knee and the foot on this side, it will probably slowly kind of disappear. But a great thing to do is to take something soft, either a blanket or a pillow or your bolster, and place it under that knee, and just instead hold that there and focus on releasing the right hip down into your mat more to slowly take you and get you a little more open. If you don't have that, another option is also placing a block right underneath that knee too. Okay, so for those that are double pigeon, you can stay there and just open up as is. If you want to do the variation that's a little safer for the knees, you can pull in the left heel. Then you're going to take just the right foot out in front of you, flexing the right foot. So we're not stacking the legs in half lotus or cross-legged in Sukhasana. That right foot is out in front. Then you can sit and ground into the mat with both hips. And whichever position you're in, either full double pigeon or this variation, think about lifting the spine tall, opening the chest. Chin is pulled away from the chest also, and just hinging forward from the hip crease. If you find this is too deep or too uncomfortable, just stay upright. Work on trying to release around the right hip with your exhales. But if you want to lean forward, you can. Try to keep an open chest, and if you can go way down, maybe you want to reach forward with your hands and let the head sink down. You're still trying to, though, hinge from that hip crease. You're trying to find length for the spine as you extend forward and down. All right, slowly make your way back upright, and whichever version of the pose you are in. And I should say too, if you find that you kind of don't need your prop, If the knee has had time to come down, you can always remove it. We're just going to kind of raise up our right arm and lean as you exhale towards your left. And then come back up. Inhale the left arm. Exhale, lean to your right. And now rise back up. From here, hands go behind you, whichever position you're in. Gently release your legs out in front of you. You can roll the ankles, shake the legs, whatever you need. From here, once you get some release for the hips, let's move to our other side. So once again, if you're going to do the variation to this pose, you're going to set up the other way. First, you're going to take the right foot, draw it in, and then let the left leg, foot is flexed, but be out in front of that right one. You're kind of going for like a 90-degree hinge or thereabouts with this left knee between the left thigh and the left shin. Okay. If you're going to do the double pigeon, you're going to take your right foot, flex it, bring it out in front of you so the shin is parallel with the top of your mat. You'll pick up the left foot, flex the toes, take that left ankle bone, rest it on top of your right knee. Then you're going to lift up the hips, gently release them down, push into the left hip. If you have some airspace here, that's okay. And of course, if ever you feel pain or discomfort in this pose, I highly suggest getting out of it and going into the variation. As you slowly open up with the breath, you can always at any time release your prop. All right, so as you're opening up, think about lifting the spine up and opening the chest. Just that simple movement can take you deeper into the left hip. Once again, I'm kind of checking my toes. They're in the same alignment or same space. And then if you'd like, as you next exhale, back is flatter, you're hinging from the hips. You can always extend and release forward. If you meet a tight spot, just stay there. Breathe through it before you decide to go further down. And if it feels like it's just kind of not releasing or even feeling a little bit more aggravating, you're lifting up a little bit and staying there. Let the breath flow. Make sure you have space between your teeth. From here, slowly rise up if you were extended forward. And then let's inhale up with the left arm. Exhale, lean to your right. Come back up. And then as you next inhale, raise up the right arm. Palm is towards your head. Exhale, lean to your left. Make your way back up and gently extend the legs out. Be careful if you feel numbness, try not to move the legs too quickly. Wait for the blood to flow down the length of your legs before you then really start to add more movement. All right. From here, we're going to lay down on our mats. We'll be setting up into Shavasana in just a moment. So I want you to feel free to grab any props or have them handy. But in the meantime, we're going to just lay down, and I'd like for you to extend your arms back behind you, extend the legs forward, maybe put a little bit of arch into your back. Breathing in and out. As you next exhale, let the muscles soften. Let the arms start to draw down. Good. Draw the shoulders away from your neck. If you need to, for the spine, you can sway the knees left and right one more time. You can hug your knees into your chest if that feels good. And then you'll come back and start to set up into your Shavasana. So maybe you're taking some props. You may want to place pillows or a bolster under your knees. Let the legs kind of come apart. The toes may turn outward. Your arms are at your side, palms are turned up, but pulled away from your hips. Or you can gently relax the hands on your belly, feeling the breath as the belly rises and falls. The eyes close, the shoulders pull away from your neck. All right. Think about kind of easing into this rest. So I want you to think about closing off the senses. The first thing we're going to do is just release around the face. So soften the forehead, soften around the eyes, soften around the mouth. Continue down the neck, softening the shoulders and out through the arms and the fingertips. Then you'll move along to the chest, the stomach, down the length of the back. Let the breath naturally become a little lighter and slower. That will help to find release for the torso or the midsection of the body. From here, you'll continue on to the hips, down the legs, and release out through your toes. Feel the pressure points of your body against the mat. Make any last bit of adjustment to get comfortable, and then commit to that position for the next few minutes, settling into more stillness, more quiet for the body. Let the limbs start to become heavier feeling. And then you're letting that sensory organ sort of float away. We're not focusing on the feeling of our body on the mat. From here, you're going to kind of notice the light that's against your closed eyes. So there still is some lightness or brightness maybe coming through the eyelids. Let the eyes continue to soften. And let your awareness or your focus kind of leave that brightness. You're not taking in that sensory information for now. You may hear sounds in the background, noticing them, but then letting them float away. You're moving more deeply into a quiet, peaceful state, sinking further into this calm, letting the thoughts of the mind slow down. slowly start to bring your awareness back to your body, to your breath, to this day. Begin to notice the lightness that's coming through your closed eyes. Begin to notice the sounds around you. Begin to notice your body pressing against your mat. Start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. And then from here, gently roll onto your right side. As you lay in this fetal position, start to expand the breath more, feeling the breath as it moves into your body and as you exhale as it leaves your body. Deepen that breath to help draw in more oxygen to reawaken the mind. And then from here, push up into a comfortable forward seated position, taking your hands together, drawing them in at your heart, your chin down, and your eyes are still closed. Our yoga practice unites our body and our mind through our breath. Thank you for sharing today's yoga flow. I hope to see you again next time. As always, the divine in me bows to the divine in you. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Be well, and I will see you again next time.